Okay. It says I'm live. We'll figure out if we're live. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're live from my bedroom in my house. Gonna once again be doing the MMA recaps for a little bit. I don't know. Only if I get days off on Saturdays. This was one of the few times I requested this Saturday off. I requested it off for many reasons. College football playoffs, UFC 229 or 229, 232. You know, I just wanted to make sure I could be able to enjoy the festivities and the MMA world tonight, the picklegram of experience, the drama of UFC 232. But boy, UFC 232 was one of those good MMA cards. You know, even though there's so much drama and everything like that, the UFC had a good December. I will say that. You know, the last ever Fox card was a really good card. 231 was a really good card, and this was a good, solid card for UFC. They're on a positive momentum, at least when it comes to actually watching the fights. If you're just someone that you just love watching fights and that's all you give a fuck about when it comes to the UFC, well, guess what? They're delivering. They're delivering on that front. Yeah, I heard about what happened at Cat Zagana. Now, keep in mind, people, for these prelims, I didn't watch any of these prelims because I was watching the Alabama and Oklahoma game. And I know everyone's gonna say, well, Trish, that was a blowout. I don't care. That's my team. I don't care if Alabama's blowing out Oklahoma. All right. I'm still gonna watch my team play and defend their national championship. All right. So I'm not gonna sit here and watch the prelims. But I saw that BJ Penn got submitted. He just needs to retire at this point. Cat Zagano got an eye injury, like a laceration in her eye. She didn't have to go to the hospital, as reported by Ariel Helwani. She was fine. Petr Yan ended up winning. And then Andrei Arlovsky lost in a split decision to Walt Harris. I don't know if this fight was close, but yeah. So, do I have any advice for someone who might want to get into UFC? I'll answer that in a moment, Wrestling Fan 316. That's a great question, and I'll definitely answer that throughout this stream, because this is definitely one of those cards where, like, if you probably heard from a friend who's like me, who's like the hardcore MMA fan that just loves MMA, watches MMA and everything like that, talks about MMA. You know, you probably heard about those cards, maybe got an invite, or maybe was interested just because there was some drama around this card. Because let's face it, man, for all the stuff that all these fans are talking about, John Jones, is he a cheater or is he not? Look, we got to see. First of all, John Jones still has to pass the post-fight tests. We got to see what USADA and WADA or VADA, whatever the heck John Jones likes to call it, ADA. We got to figure out, you know, is he going to pass those tests? Because right now, as it stands, John Jones, according to science and the experts, and Jeff Novitzky, he has done nothing fucking wrong. And that's quoted by Dana White, all right? He's done nothing fucking wrong, all right? Fuck you. You know, Dana White said he's done nothing wrong. Jeff Novitzky says he's good to fight. The California State Athletic Commission did not know what the hell happened. They were like, oh, we didn't know about this until actually when they moved the fight. Bunch of goofs, man. Bunch of goofs. Am I a fan of John? Yes, I am. Brett Chandler. As a fighter, I think he's wonderful to watch. He is just so dominant, and it's just so amazing to see. As a person and human being, to quote Daniel Cormier and Rashad Evans, you're so fucking fake, John. He's a fake. You know, I don't believe any of his nice guy shit. You know, when John actually starts talking shit in press conferences, I think that's the real John Jones. Like the Time Is Now press conference when John Jones was all like the Daniel Cormier, you're the biggest pussy I ever met. I was like, that's the John Jones I want to see. I don't want to see this, oh, glory to God and all this other stuff. My favorite UFC fighter right now, my favorite UFC fighter, Bellator's Gegard Mousasi. That's my favorite fighter in Bellator. He's probably one of my favorite MMA fighters currently right now is Gegard. I've always been a big Gegard fan. But UFC, ooh, that's hard. Like, I'm a big T-City guy. I know he got lit up by Holloway, but I'm a big T-City guy. Why do you dogs always open up my room? Jesus. I lock my door and these dogs still open up my damn room. Let's see. T-City. T-City is one of my favorites. Ortega. I know he got lit up by Holiday, but he's one of my favorites to watch. God, there's not really. I don't really have like a fave. I guess Ortega is my favorite UFC fighter right now. Yeah, yeah, that's my favorite fighter right now. I guess I gotta say, off the top of my head, yeah. Like out of all the UFC, yeah, it's Ortega because I know he got lit up by Holloway, like I said, like 5 times already. But I like watching him fight. He's very entertaining. The way he uses submissions is cool to me. So yeah, I like Ortega. But other guys I like too, like Holloway. I like Holloway. I'm just not like the biggest fan of him. People think I'm a big McGregor fan, even though I'm not. I love Aldo and everything like that. Silva when he's fighting. Israel Adesanya is another cool guy I like watching. Yoel Romero is another guy I'm a big fan of. Whitaker. So yeah, I know I'm boring. Everyone's like, "Oh, you like boring fighters." I don't care. That Nate. I like Nate Diaz too, but not like a fan. I'm not even talking about the card right now. People are just asking questions. But yeah, UFC 232 happened. Obviously, if you guys came in and you guys know, John Jones reclaimed his throne. He is now once again the light heavyweight champion of the world. And tonight, John Jones straight up literally just was like treated Alexander Gustafsson. Like, if you watch the first John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson fight, you thought Gustafsson was like the biggest threat to John Jones, man. And Gustafsson was showing it, man. Gustafsson was showing that early in the first round. But then afterwards, once John Jones realized what Gustafsson was going to do, he treated Gustafsson like a sparring partner. Like, see, I think CPZ said it to me on Twitter. It was literally like John Jones was out there sparring with Gustafsson. Gustafsson looked like he did not even stand a fucking chance against John Jones. John Jones was literally just doing whatever he wanted to Gustafsson. And I know everyone's going to be like, oh, it's that picklegram of Turnbull. That Turinabol. That's the reason why. That picklegram. I don't think a picklegram of Turinabol stops Gustafsson from actually trying to punch John Jones. Gustafsson was advancing. Gustafsson was the more aggressive fighter. He couldn't even reach John Jones. He was doing basic boxing techniques, 1, 2, 3 combos. He wasn't doing anything that was a threat to John Jones. He got a nice couple right hands in, but they weren't anything where Jones was like, ugh. Jones literally just shook out those right hands like, it is what it is. This wasn't like the first fight. The first fight's one of the best fights in UFC history. You would think John Jones, if anyone's going to cause him problems, it's going to be Alexander Gustafsson. And Gustafsson looked like he did not even have a chance against John Jones in this fight. Like straight up, after the first round, it was just like, oh man, dude, Gustafsson is just not on Jones's level. Jones is just on a higher level. Like, this shows how good he is. And people need to keep in mind too, Gustafsson, like John Jones was just suspended. It's not like John Jones was permitted from training. He could still train and do all this other crap. People need to keep that in mind because Gustafsson, he's been coming off injuries. He's been taking time off from his proposing to his fiance and doing other stuff, and he's been injured a couple times where he hasn't been able to fight. Gustafsson had just as much ring rust as John Jones, and that's something that people don't really put into factor, but he's had more injuries. And it was just something that a lot of people, like, it was just like amazing to me where it's like, and especially how the UFC marketed it, acting like, oh yeah, John Jones hasn't fought in a long ass time. It's like, Gustafsson hasn't fought in a long ass time too. Heck, when he was supposed to fight, he heard Anthony Lionheart Smith calling his damn name, and he saw that dude. He was like, oh, I ain't going to fight that motherfucker on short notice. So yeah. But yeah, when it came down to it, John Jones won. His post-fight press conference, his post-fight was the most disappointing post-fight that I wanted to see from John Jones. He went on and tried to be humble, nice John Jones. That's not what we want to see. John Jones should have literally just said, DC, get your act together, lay off the fucking donuts, and come meet me at 205. If not, I'm going to eat some donuts, and I'm going to take your heavyweight title, bitch. And then that's what he should have said. He instead of giving like the ultimate call out to DC, he was trying to act all humble. He took too long with it. It was just like, oh, come on, Jones. You're so fake. You're so fake, Jones. So yeah, when it came down to it, it was whatever. John Jones was dominant. It's like if you told your friends like how good John Jones is, and this was their first UFC fight seeing John Jones, they would be like, damn, this guy is fucking good. Now let's just hope and pray that he passed the whole WADA, VADA, USADA, UADA, DADA, BABADA, la 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 la, NCSS, da 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 tests. Let's hope you don't piss hot. So yeah. I know this is a UFC stream, but would Brock Lesnar versus John Jones with both titles on the line be a good business decision for both UFC and WWE? Well, WWE wouldn't do it. You know, they're not going to put the Universal title on the line. First of all, it's not a real belt. It's a WWE championship. Can't be sanctioned by the state athletic commissions. A belt that it has to have a weight class. Doesn't have a weight class because freaking Ty Dillinger can win that shit. So there's no weight class for the Universal title, and that's the problem. It's called the Universal Heavyweight title, but there's no solidified weight classes. So they won't, like, people don't realize he can't put the belt on the line. The State Athletic Commission has to say, yes, this is a belt they can put on the line. What's up, Degenerate Sharagon? So anyways, John Jones and Gustafsson, they were like the good side piece, but the real main attraction for a lot of hardcore MMA fans was Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg. I keep saying Santos. I always think of the other fighter. I know, sue me, fuck me. Justino Evan. I can't pronounce her real name. Sue me. Chris Cyborg versus Amanda Nunes for the UFC Featherweight Championship. Two big striking women just ready to go. And this fight delivered on everything and was the shock of the night, where Chris Cyborg pretty much just went, I don't care, I'm going to fight like on Vitor. I'm going to go in and just try to strike. And Amanda Nunes like, oh yeah, I know how to do this. Forget Honda Housey. It's my time now. And she just looked phenomenal. Caught Cyborg, and Cyborg, instead of being calm and just relaxed in this situation, because this is what happens with dominant fighters like Chris Cyborg, or just dominant fighters who have never been in losing situations. You see, what made Anderson Silva so great for so many years in the UFC is the fact that Anderson Silva lost before he came to the UFC and before he became in his prime. GSP, what made him so great is that he lost a couple times in the UFC to veterans that kind of helped him and mold him become the champion that he is. The thing about Cyborg, yes, it's great to see her as an unstoppable. It's always fun to see an unstoppable force. But unless you actually lose, sometimes you don't know how to handle certain situations. And unless you do a certain sport where it's easy for you to probably lose, like say, for example, Habib Nurmagomedov has been wrestling for years. I'm pretty sure he's lost. This dude's been wrestling bears too. So Habib, if he's ever in a losing situation, he knows how to handle himself. That's what makes him different than Cyborg. Cyborg lost her first ever professional fight. That was it. Afterwards, she found a strategy that worked, bum rushing girls, beating them up. No one is bigger, no one is better, no one is stronger than me. Well, when there's someone that can be bigger and better and stronger than you, and they catch you, sometimes they don't have that mindset of let's stay calm and relaxed. I understand where Cyborg's coming from. She felt unstoppable. She just felt, that was just a lucky punch. That's nothing to me. I'm going to go beat this girl up. I'm going to catch her. She just dropped me once. That's what Cyborg was thinking. She's never been in that situation. So, but Amanda Nunes has been in those situations. People act like Amanda Nunes is unstoppable, especially if you just watch the Ronda Rousey, the Miesha Tate, and the Cyborg fight. People forget those Valentino Shevchenko fights where Nunes struggled and had to fight a very tough adversary. And the 125-pound champ, Valentina Shevchenko. Amanda Nunes has been in those situations. And that's what gave Amanda Nunes a little bit of an edge in Chris Cyborg. As it stands right now, unless something crazy happens, Amanda Nunes is the greatest women's fighter of all time. It's not even a debate. It's not even a fucking argument. Ronda Rousey may be the most impactful women's fighter of all time, no questions asked. Chris Cyborg is maybe the most feared women fighter of all time, for sure. But when it comes to the greatest, of all time, it's Amanda Nunes. She beat Miesha Tate. She beat Ronda Rousey. She beat Chris Cyborg, and she's beaten Valentina Shevchenko. The only women fighter, if you want to be all technical, that she needs to probably beat to solidify this is Joanna Jędrzejczyk. And I don't think the Joanna champion's ever going to bump up to 135, all right? There's no one close. No one is sniffing her when it comes to being the greatest of all time as a women's MMA fighter. It's going to be so hard to top because what Amanda Nunes did was solidify herself as unstoppable, as one of the best. That's what Amanda Nunes did. She's a double champion. She beat the 125-pound champ. And she's one of those girls. And the 125-pound champ gave her a fight. Like, let's be real. Don't forget, Shevchenko, a lot of people are saying, oh, she won that fight. So don't act like Shevchenko's some joke either. Shevchenko is probably the only one that can come close. But Shevchenko has to go back up to 135 and fight Nunes. Question has it now, what's next? Does she stay at 145? Is 145 a thing? Do they just merge the belts? Because let's be real here. The 145 division was only made for Cyborg. It wasn't made for anyone else. It was made for Cyborg. That was the Cyborg division. Hell, you go look at rankings for 145. They don't exist. There's no rankings for a 145-pound division. They put random numbers against these women. They don't know what the ranking is. You on ESPN, they don't even have rankings. You on UFC, there's no rankings. So what's next? Does Amanda Nunes pull double duty? Cyborg immediate rematch? I mean, do we really need to see Cyborg immediate rematch? No. I don't think we need to see that. I don't think fans care to see that. Maybe some fans do. I don't. Rather see Nunes maybe fight Jermaine Duradame. Is there someone that's worth a damn right now at 135, 145 for her? There's like that's the thing with Nunes, man. She's already a Hall of Famer and one of the greatest of all times. But the problem is Nunes is like it's like for as great as she is, the UFC is pissed because she beat two of the biggest cash cows for them, and she's not like generating anything from it. Like the girl beat Ronda Rousey in like one of the top pay-per-views a couple years back. And then when she was main eventing and stuff like that, she only got like 100,000 buys. This pay-per-view most likely got like 700,000 buys at the most. It might get more. I'm not sure. Just depends on the hype and maybe the fact that the picklegram meme was going around everywhere. People talked about it a lot more. But when it came down to it, Nunes is just not a draw when it comes to casual fans. You know what I'm saying? And nothing against Nunes. She's not a bad fighter. I'm not trying to say, oh, Amanda Nunes sucks. Like, oh. No, Amanda Nunes is great. It's just that casual fans don't seem to care about her. So what are we going to do? Whatever happened to that new belt that they teased? I think maybe that's like something they will show one of the ESPN cards, or maybe next year, or maybe for a fight that they actually care about. Because let's be real here. Are you going to like really design the new belt for John Jones if he just wastes it? So yeah. Or Cyborg versus Holly, or you mean Nunes versus Holly? Yeah. Yeah, CPZ. Like Amanda Nunes should be a mega star. Like, no, she should be a mega star. It's not even funny. Like, she should be somewhere it's like, oh, I'm buying my UFC pay-per-view to see Amanda Nunes. But no, she's just kind of like, oh yeah, Amanda Nunes. That girl beat Ronda Rousey and shit. like she just beat Cyborg. One of the big upsets in UFC. This is a big upset. So yeah. Other stuff that happened on UFC 232, Michael Chiesa beat Carlos Condit. Carlos Condit, it's time for you to join Bellator, buddy. It's time for you and Rory McDonald to fight again, bud. The thing about Condit, it's just that he hasn't caught up with the times, man. He's still fighting like it's 2011. Chiesa just pretty much took advantage of the fact that he beat a guy that just is behind on the times. So yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, fuck Michael Chiesa. I don't like him. Corey Anderson beat Iri Latifi. Latifi just got tired, and Anderson took advantage. I actually had Anderson winning this fight. I was surprised that he's only ranked 10. But then Corey Anderson, after realizing that he should have called out Gustafsson on that one show, he decided, oh, you know what? I'm going to call it Anthony Smith because Anthony Smith is ranked number 3. Sure. Anthony Smith and Corey Anderson. That sounds wonderful. I'll be down for it. You know, someone asked me who was my favorite fighter. I forgot to put Anthony Smith in that list. I do love Anthony Smith. I like his story. I like that this guy's just a baller. He's a gamer. He puts on good fights. So, yeah. Alexander Volkanovski, a.k.a. Alexander the Great, defeated Chad Mendes in the second round. Good opening fight. Mendes literally just got he just got sucked into Alexander the Great's game. Like, he literally just said, oh, yeah, I can rock you. I can fight you. I can bang with you. And I was just like, no, Chad, don't do that. Oh, God dang, Chad, fuck. So it is what it is. But yeah, UFC 232 was a very good. It was a good card. Solid UFC. This is what you want. If you paid money for it, you know, there's not really like the cyborg thing is cool. The one thing that was kind of missing was just that fight of the night that makes you say, "Oh yeah, this is a great year." Like there wasn't like one fight that was like, "Oh yeah, that was awesome." Like it was like kind of like after Jones and Gustafsson, and after Jones made Gustafsson look like he never fought him in his life. I was kind of like, "Oh yeah. Oh, it's over. Oh, they're promoting the Cejudo and Dillashaw fight. I want to see that." Is that next? Yeah, I saw BJ Penn tapping to the Ryan Hall kid. What's up, Isaac? How's he doing, my friend? So, yeah. Who's more well-known, Jones or McGregor? Oh, McGregor. McGregor is way more well-known than Jones. Jones is more well-known for fucking up than he is fighting. Like, people know John Jones because it's like, oh, yeah, he fucked up a bunch of times. No one's like, oh, yeah, John Jones, great fighter. It's like, oh, yeah, he pops all the time. PEDs and shit like that. Like John Jones is known for that and stuff like that. He's not known and stuff. But, yeah, Wrestling Fan 316 on this chat. They were asking how to be what's it called, a UFC fan, like how to watch a UFC, how to get into it and stuff. Honestly, man, it's based off of like going back and watching older fights and finding a fight that really resonates with you, or finding a fight that like gets you hyped up. Like, you need to watch everything for that fight. You can't just watch like the fight itself. You need to watch the pre-fight packages and everything like that, and then watching the fight that just makes you say, you know what, man, UFC's awesome. That's how it is, man. And it's like, I can't suggest, like, the thing is, there's some parts where you have to also understand certain aspects of the sport. Like, I can't just be like, oh yeah, go watch Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen. That's my favorite fight. There's reasons why I love that fight and why it's my favorite fight of all time. There's fights that I will suggest to you, and maybe you can go check out. It's up to you. Dan Henderson versus Shogun Rua 1. Always an awesome fight. Quite possibly one of the greatest fights ever. Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald 2. That was the same card that Chad Mendes fought Conor McGregor. I always forget the UFC off the top of my head. The number, it is what it is. I'm not that well versed anymore with the numbers anymore. But yeah, that was a great fight. Has the most epic fourth round stare down between those two men, and was just an amazing title fight and what you want out of the UFC title fight. Aldo versus Mendes 2. That was another awesome UFC title fight. Very close fight between two of the toughest guys. McGregor versus Diaz 1. Just to see a star like McGregor and a guy like Nate Diaz come on short notice doing what he did. And then like Jones versus Shogun would be another good fight to kind of watch. Those are like kind of good introductory fights, I would say, UFC wise, to check out. And then there's other fights like the Justin Gaethje fights. Like, you just have to watch any of them. He fights the same fucking fight anyway. So like, if you just want to see guys brawl each other and shit. Oh, dude, Golden Boy 2 with BJ Penn and Frankie Edgar 4. Book it, De La Hoya. Just do it. Fuck it. Why not? Or you know what? Get Uriah Faber out of retirement. Faber versus Penn, the fight we've all wanted to see. Just do it. Yeah, I know Jones would have been a mega. Jones was reaching like megastar status. Like, the thing about Jones was like, after the first Gustafsson fight and after taking down DC, he was reaching that like, oh, he's a big star status. And then he was gonna fight Rumble, and then he had that whole hit and run incident and shit like that. And that's where everything kind of went downhill. Like, after all that crap, that's where everything went downhill for Jones. Were you mad about the whole John Jones doping situation, the whole moving of the card? No. Why would I be mad about it? First of all, Dana White canceled / moved the card I was going to go to anyways. So I was mad about that more than anything else. Number two, let's be real here. Not like I'm going to be like, I'm just going to be honest with you, unless Anthony Smith was fighting tonight. Not like I'm going to be on here talking about this fight. I wasn't going to take a day off to go watch fucking Anthony Smith and Alexander Gustafsson. I was just recorded the pay-per-view, watching it in my free time, and then that was it. I mean, literally, like, I don't know why fans are pissed. It's not like you're going to talk about the card anyways. If USADA says he's clean to fight, he's clean to fight. That's USADA's ruling. I'm not going to get mad at USADA. Well, why being a social justice warrior, being like, oh, justice for Frank? Who the fuck cares? What if USADA changed their rules? I don't care. Just want to see fights. I don't give a fuck about all this politic crap. I like to make fun of it, but I don't care about it. It doesn't affect me at the end of the day. Shamrock versus Ortiz. Oh, that's a good one. Thoughts on Tyron Woodley versus Junkie Nick Diaz being a possibility super fight? In what world is that a super fight? Why would I want to see Tyron Woodley back up for 4 rounds and Nick Diaz not do shit? Fuck that. Jones versus Gus 1 is good too, but like I was just like trying to suggest different types of fights. What's your hate for DC? Man, DC is just a fake fucker. I just find DC so fake when it comes down to it. I find him a kiss ass with the media. Like he weaseled his way with the media. He's the reason why the John Jones feud started, because someone asked John Jones if he would do something for a sponsorship. But then once John heard that DC was a part of it, DC was like, okay, John Jones, you won't sponsor me? I'm going to barrel through security. My friend that interned at Fox told me DC was just miserable to work with and stuff, which was hilarious to me because it was just so funny and stuff. She told me that DC would rib her too much and that DC thought he was super funny and super cool. And she just got annoyed by DC. Like, and the thing about this girl, she doesn't even watch MMA. She doesn't know shit. She said the nicest guy, and this is where it shows you. When someone tells me the nicest people she met while working with UFC on Fox as an intern were Dominic Cruz and Michael Bisping. Now, she said, Chase, you watch. First of all, when she came to me about working with UFC on Fox, she thought it was WWF. All right, not even WWE. She fucked that up. She texted me, hey, Chase, you watch WWF, right? I was like, yeah, I watch WWE. Yeah, do you know this Daniel Cormier? And I was like, Daniel Cormier is a UFC. I was like, yeah, I know Daniel Cormier. He's a dick. That was literally what she texted me. To me personally, when it comes to Daniel Cormier, he is just a fake human being when it comes to stuff. That's my thing about Daniel Cormier. He just comes off as fake. And especially after what my friend told me, that he was one of the most miserable people to work with at Fox. And that's surprising to me. Because I thought if anyone was miserable to work with, it'd be Cruz or Bisping or freaking Rashad. No, she said Bisping and Cruz were the coolest people ever. Dominic Cruz was one of the nicest human beings she's ever met. She said Karen Bryant was miserable too. Yeah, man, because DC's fake, CPZ. That's why I don't like him. That's why I'm not a big fan of him, because like I always feel like, it's like with DC, he's the one who started the feud with John Jones. He's the one that kept on going with it. And the thing about DC, what he benefited from was the fact that the thing was, he stole everything from Rashad Evans. Rashad Evans even said this. I believe Rashad Evans said on UFC Tonight that DC's been pretty much saying what I've been saying for years about John. Rashad Evans was pretty much saying that John Jones was fake. He was telling us everything about John Jones before DC was. But the reason why no one listened to Rashad Evans at the time was because Rashad Evans was a bad guy. Oh yeah, Rashad Evans. He just fought with Rampage and he was a dick on that Ultimate Fighter season. Oh, we're not going to listen to this guy. DC, he's brown noses the media, kisses the media's ass, and so the media is never going to say anything bad about DC. They act like DC is some saint. That's what I hate about DC the most, is like they act like DC is some saint, and DC acts like, oh, I've been with USADA for years, and I've never been caught. DC, Lance Armstrong bucked the fucking system for years. I wouldn't be surprised if you know some loopholes, you Roy Belly piece of shit. So when someone comes on here and tries to act like DC's some innocent little bastard, oh, get the fuck on out of here. Like Nick Diaz said, all these motherfuckers are on steroids. These motherfuckers, you know, the only ones that are on steroids is me and Nate. You know, fuck them. That's my thing about DC. Yeah, sorry about the DC rant, but yeah, dude, that's what I said, man. Yeah, no, I'm like, that's why I hate DC, man. Like if these, you guys will love the day DC if he ever gets popped by USADA after he's done bucking the fuck, because I think he's bucking the system. Y'all can say you never been okay. Just because you never got caught before doesn't mean you aren't fucking cheating. Let's be real here. How many of us really think Tyron Woodley is clean? like, let's be real. Is Darren Till really fucking clean? I rest my case. I love Yoel Romero, but is he really fucking clean? Let's be real. There's ways to buck the USADA system. In fact, I've known people in the USADA system, and they buck that fucking system. So yeah. Yeah, so yeah. Let's see. What questions did I miss? Thoughts on the whole Woodley, Covington, Usman, and Askren drama. I don't know these fighters are acting like divas these days. So first of all, Tyron Woodley has a thumb injury. I guarantee you the doctors prescribed him something that would get him popped by USADA. So that's the reason why he's not fighting. Because if he got popped, people would be like, oh, Tyron Woodley's kidding. But it's just because he got prescribed something, especially if you have a thumb injury, you're most likely have been given something to help you recover, a pain reliever that might have some trace of a banned substance. So Tyron Woodley doesn't want to get popped. Covington, I don't know what his problem is. He had like a nasal surgery, and he's saying it's the worst nasal surgery ever, according to him, and stuff like that. So I don't know. Usman, he had I don't know why Dana. Like, here's the thing. Sometimes I can get why Dana White is behind certain people or like pushing certain people, but Usman, I don't get this, man. He literally was like Usman, like straight up. Usman beat up RDA for like 5 rounds, and it wasn't even like it was a great beatdown by Usman, but it wasn't like he did anything impressive. It was just more of a one-sided beatdown. And Dana White after that fight was like, "Yeah, man, RDA is a tough son of a bitch. Usman looked fucking phenomenal." I was like, "What do you mean fucking phenomenal? He just, You know, Usman always talks shit, and he always talks about being big game, and he showed it tonight. He didn't even finish RDA. Like he just did what Covington did to RDA. I don't know what Dana White was smoking with this whole Usman's a beast shit. Like, And then Askren just wants to fight. Like, Askren's like, oh, Robbie Lawler, fuck that. I don't want to face Robbie Lawler. He has like 92% takedown defense. Because that's like the worst fight to give Askren, is a guy that can actually take stuff takedowns. So, yeah. Did you see the graph Jennifer Jerry uploaded that WWE Pro Wrestling is at its low state? No, I haven't checked that graph out yet. Demetrius Johnson is in 1FC. You sad or don't give two shits. Anyways, the flyweight division is going bye-bye. I'm sad because it's like Demetrius was one of the best fighters ever, and he gets no props whatsoever. Like literally, I watch 1FC. I like their style. They have some really good young fighters over there, especially in the lower weight classes, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna dominate whoever the fuck he fights. But yeah, when it comes down to it, I don't know, man. Like, I'm kind of sad because it's like he never got his just due. But then again, Dana White soured on him because he didn't take the TJ fight, and then he was just kind of backing out of super fights, and then he took an easy fight for his Anderson Silva title defense. The flyweight division was just weak anyway, so it is what it is. Yeah, yeah, no, like I was just surprised, like when my friend told me that Cruz and like compared to DC seems like he's a nicer guy than Cruz and Bisping. She told me that Cruz was always super nice. Like she told me one time Cruz offered because when you're an intern, especially for like something like that, you really don't get like the luxuries they do. And Cruz offered her like a catering, like whatever, because I guess you get tickets or something like that for like meals, and she was late. So she like to get the ticket. And if you're an intern, you don't get first call on the tickets. Like Fox doesn't give a fuck. She told me like Fox was one of the worst internships she's ever worked for too, because they didn't care about their interns at all. And she said, because she told me, she's like, Chase, you don't want to work for Fox. Like, don't do it. It's like that. Because I told her to put in a good word for me. But then afterwards, once she told me about how bad Fox treated her, she was just like, no, fuck, you don't want to work for this place. She said that like if you missed your meal ticket or whatever, something like you wouldn't get one or whatever, some weird shit. But she said that Cruz would offer her meal tickets and stuff. Like, and my friend's not hot. Like I'm not. She might watch this. I don't give a fuck. She's not good looking. All right. So it wasn't like Dominic Cruz was trying to lay moves on her. He's just a generally nice dude. Like he was like, yeah, I'm cutting weight. Here's my meal ticket or some shit like that. Like apparently, like he said that he couldn't eat that day or something like that. I don't know. And she said Bisping was always really cool and it was funny and always complained about makeup and stuff. So yeah, she said Bisping was hilarious, but said DC was just absolutely miserable, always ribbing the interns, always making like it's like she said that DC was like the cool dad that wasn't cool and was just annoying and would embarrass you. That's how she summed up DC to me. I just love when she was like, hey, you watch WWF. And I was like, what the fuck? And then she said that record me. I'm excited for Velasquez and Nagano. The real heavyweight king is back, and he's facing Francis Nagano. That's going to be fucking awesome. I'm so stoked for that fight. Oh, Paulo Costa. Yeah, that with that fucking body. Yeah, dude, he has to be on something. Like, Paulo Costa, that dude has to walk around at 230. There's no way that fucker's 180. Like if you told me Paulo Costa walks around at 205 or 215 to cut down to 185, I'm not believing you. That dude literally has the Rumble body, welterweight Rumble body. Remember when Rumble would cut down to welterweight and he looked jacked to the gills? That's Paulo Costa. Oh, good call, Isaac Barak. I forgot what he was supposed to fight Yoel. I remember Paulo Costa was supposed to fight Yoel. I don't know who he's fighting now. Do you see DC and Stipe next? No. Well, why? Dana White hates Stipe. Stipe disrespected Uncle Dana. You're not going to get that. No picklegram in hell is going to give you that fight. How good is karate in MMA? Depends on who's using it. Wonder Boy makes karate look really phenomenal at times in MMA, but then at the same time, it's too defensive. Like, the problem with the karate style is that you lay back too much, and that when you actually use your strikes to counteract and everything like that, if another fighter is just like, okay, I can take your punches and I'll go in and I'll wrestle you, it doesn't work that well. And it's just too defensive, and it's just too to the point where it's like it could confuse and mystify people who are just like straight brawlers. But when it comes to a wrestler, they don't care if you're using fucking karate. They're like, okay, you can use your stupid karate. I'll figure it out and I'll take you down. I'll crack your leg and stuff like that. Who I got between TJ versus Cejudo, I really want to say TJ just because I think he is the better fighter, but I don't know, man. The TJ Dillashaw cockiness is just too much for me. Like Cejudo's cockiness is like cringe cockiness, but like for me, I feel like Cejudo's gonna win that fight. Like I really have some like a weird feeling that TJ is gonna lose. And it's not gonna be like, oh, he got knocked out. I think it's just gonna be a 5-round war. And then it's just that Cejudo takes him down and stuff like that. TJ has good cockiness. Like, I'm not trying to say that that TJ shouldn't be cocky and stuff, but man, dude, he's coming in really cocky for this fight, like way more cockier than usual. And it's just like to the point, like he's saying that I can beat McGregor and Khabib. Like, oh, calm the fuck down. You got to worry about Cejudo first. And I really like what I see out of Cejudo. I feel like Cejudo is what's it called? Is a very good fighter. My friend is sensitive. I'm not trying to deny that. She is very sensitive, but she said that DC was just not a nice dude to talk to. I feel like Cruz should retire. He has a great future in MMA commentary and MMA analyzing. He's smart for the sport. He makes you understand everything that you're watching. Like my mom, she barely watches UFC. She's like, I like the commentator tonight. He makes me understand stuff. That's what she literally said. I was like, who, Joe Rogan or John Anik? She's like, no, the other guy. She's like, I don't know what the fuck Joe Rogan's talking about. That's what she literally said at the time. And my mom got so annoyed with John Anik. She's like, I get it. P3, the number one protein of the UFC. She got so annoyed that they were promoting that P3 stuff. Because we have some P3 at the house. And then she literally was like, I feel like I want to go grab a P3 protein pack right now, just because John Anik keeps talking about it. She didn't say John Anik, but she said the dude keeps talking about it. What do you think of Kukui's? Who do you think Kukui's next fight is? It should be Khabib. Like, if I'm Tony Ferguson, I am saying no to you. Say a fight. If it's not McNuggets, or as he would call it, if it's not McNuggets, there's no reason to fight. Sit and wait for Khabib. It's not like you're gonna get any rusty. You could probably use a layoff anyways for your knee surgery. I get it. You love kicking lead pipes and doing all this other crazy stuff. Speaking of which, I'm loving these Tony Ferguson memes. Like, Tony Ferguson's the type of guy that would roid himself up just to see how fast he could get it out of his system. And stuff like that. I'm loving these Tony Ferguson memes that these MMA channels are leaving. So yeah, Isaac Barak just asked a question. Yeah, I love all these Tony's the type of dude comments. Like there's so many good ones, man. Like, Tony Ferguson is the type of dude to eat all his cereal and then go out to buy milk just to eat more cereal afterwards and stuff like that. Yeah, Tony Ferguson is the type of dude the shadow box at a funeral. I love Thiago Santos, man. I love Thiago Santos. I want him to be like the wrecking ball. I want him to be like Rumble Johnson. Give me Volkan Ozdemir and Thiago Santos. Fuck yeah. I'll take that any day of the week. I don't care who wins. Yeah, no, Anik is getting better. I'm not saying Anik is bad. Anik is still trying to figure out how to be like Goldie. Like, he's still trying to figure out like when to say certain stats and statistics and stuff like that. Because Rogan's just there to be like, oh my God, this is crazy. I can't believe what we're watching. And Dominic Cruz is there to be all like, and when you see someone slip in like that, that's when you got to rip to the body. And he needs to figure out the spots to actually say these goofy statistics. Because that's all Mike Goldberg did, where Mike Goldberg's like, and John Jones has a 32% takedown disadvantage against guys that are 6'5". And that's crazy to think, because John Jones is just such a great wrestler. Like that's how it is, What's up, Sebastian Jones? Khabib versus Tony and Conor versus Nate 3. Oh, we can dream. It's most likely going to be Conor versus Poirier. Man, I want Max Holloway versus Conor too, honestly. Because that would be a great fight. People forget, I tore my ACL when I fucking fought Max Holloway. When I was fighting Max Holloway, I was on one bum knee and I still took that Hawaiian down. Being analytical, why do you think DC can beat Jones? Analytical. DC has a high takedown advantage. Sure, Jones stuffed all those takedowns against him, but he does have a high takedown advantage against a lot of fighters. DC has a really good 1-2 punch combination with his left and right hand combination. His uppercut and clinch separation game is really good. So like when you separate from the clinch, DC can hit you with a good right uppercut. He got Stipe with that. That's obviously what won him the heavyweight championship. He was able to catch Gustafsson with that a couple times in the first fight. He got Rumble with that. Thing about DC, if he gets your back, it's almost a guaranteed rear naked choke. His back game is just really, really strong. His riding game is just really, really strong. DC has advantages against Jones, and especially when you watch the last fight against Jones before he got caught with the head kick. DC was doing a good job dirty boxing with John Jones, like able to sucker John Jones in to go into DC's range, because DC is never going to be in John Jones's range. But what DC was able to do was kind of make it where he was able to suck John Jones in, because John Jones felt that he could clinch with DC and take DC down easily and everything like that. and DC was able to, you know, dirty box with John Jones. He's a very good dirty boxer. That's the thing with DC. If he's able to just keep John Jones within his range and make John Jones overconfident, that's how he can beat John Jones in an analytical standpoint. Would I want Brock versus DC? Not really. Brock versus Jones is way more interesting. Tony versus Holloway sometime in my lifetime. Oh, that'd be great. Those two will just stand in Bane and won't even care. Who would you want Lesnar to face, Jones or DC? Jones. Way more want to see Jones fight than DC. Have you ever watched Thug Daddy Brock Lesnar versus John Jones video before? Yeah, and I agree with him. I don't give a fuck. All the steroids. Give John Jones a blow of cocaine. Coke Jones is one of the greatest. Coke Jones is one of the greatest fighters of all time, man. And thoughts on Kevin Lee these days being delusional. You know, I don't like that, Isaac Brock. You know, you're over here calling me delusional. You know, I beat Raging now. You know, same old Al. You know, I beat him. And, you know, I beat Michael Chiesa. You know, I'm still one of the biggest threats to Khabib. You know, that's just how Kevin Lee is. It's how he markets himself. Whatever. I still think he is a guy that can give Khabib maybe some minor challenges just because he is a really good wrestler. But I don't know, man. Raging Al was using you as a punch bag. and Aljamain Sterling, or Ally Clinton. I don't know why I got those fools mixed up. Aljamain Sterling, I don't even know what the fuck he's doing nowadays. Ally Quinta is a very underrated lightweight. Now he's going to get a little bit overrated. And I love when he was like, "Ooh, fuck Justin Gaethje." I think Justin Gaethje would light your shit up, boy. So don't say fuck Justin Gaethje. You should be saying, "Yeah, I'll fight Justin Gaethje. That's an easy fight of the night bonus." So yeah. Thoughts on Wilder versus Fury? Typical. I knew Deontay Wilder wasn't going to learn. So yeah, I knew he was going to lose. I mean, there was no reason. Tyson Fury, what the fuck? He wasn't going to lose. I told people this. No one listened to me. I remember I was at the fight party and everyone said, "Chase, who's going to win?" And I said, "Deontay Wilder." And everyone's like, "Oh, do you think Tyson Fury might win the fight?" I said, "No." So this goes to the decision. It's going to either be a draw or fucking Wilder's going to win in some bullshit. I'm not going to have fucking Fury win. Who the fuck is this guy compared to Wilder right now? Well, Tyson Fury did beat the Klitschko's, Chase. I don't give a fuck. This ain't 2008. No one gives a fuck about the Klitschko's anymore. And so when it came down to it, when Deontay Wilder got draw, and everyone at the party I was at was calling bullshit, I was over here like, yeah, told you. So yeah. Oh yeah, I know. I just know why I got Ally Quinton and Aljamain. That should be a good fight. Jimmy Rivera's pissed about something, right? I can't remember. Khabib versus Tyron. Who you got? Khabib. I'm sorry, man. Like Tyron Woodley, he's shown weaknesses throughout his career. Khabib is just to me is just so dominant. Like until I can find someone that will beat Khabib, I'm just gonna choose Khabib. Like I'm just gonna be a pussy and not be all like, "Oh, you know, I think." No, I'm just gonna say Khabib. I'm always just gonna say Khabib. I'm just not gonna choose anyone else. He's just too dominant. Everyone's gonna be like, "Well, Tyron's so." People forget Khabib walks around at 200 pounds. That's his walking weight. He starts cutting at 182. That's when Khabib starts cutting. Is after he shreds down to 182. Then he starts cutting. Tyron Woodley's a big, thick boy, and he may have one of the highest takedown defenses in the UFC. But when you wrestle the fucking bear, you don't give a fuck. How do you think Greg Hardy does in MMA when he's not fighting scrubs? Mediocre. I mean, yeah, mediocre. Depends. He might surprise people, but I think mediocre. I think you can only get so far of the "I'm a big guy that can punch with huge power," you know. So yeah. Boxing's all about who has the biggest name. That's it. When Jones said DC's daddy's home, that was hilarious. Because he is home. Should Jones have at least a fight at heavyweight, although he doesn't want to? Yeah. But Jones has a point where DC needs to prove that he can beat him at 205. And if DC beats him at 205, then Jones would want the rematch at heavyweight just because they repaid the favor. So, yeah, when it comes down to it, Jones has a point. Meet me at 205, and then I'll meet you at heavyweight if you can beat me. I feel like Jones just doesn't want to face DC at heavyweight just because DC is heavier and DC doesn't have to cut weight and he can eat the fucking donuts. And maybe Roy Belly doesn't want to fight either because maybe his Lance Armstrong steroids don't want him to cut weight. So yeah. UFC will panic and do it. Paulo Costa versus Romero. Who wins? Romero right now. I think he's just I think Costa. He's been knocking out people and stuff like that. But I got Romero. Oh, C-level Kane always wins. There's a reason why DC is afraid of C-level Kane. Okay, I don't want to fight my teammate. Kane and I were like best friends who are never going to fight each other. Because he knows Kane will. Kane is one of the greatest of all time, man. Hashtag Brown Pride. All right. C-level Kane. Now Kane, if he's not in C-level, I don't trust him. But C-level Kane is amazing. He like top 5 greatest fighters of all time. Number 5. All right. I think number 5. This may come controversial, but I think short notice Diaz is pretty fucking good. Every time Diaz comes on short notice, he's pretty crazy. Number 4. The top 3 are easy. The top 3, you should know who the top 3 are. Number 4. Now, Full Camp Mendes was on this top 5, but after what we saw, Full Camp Mendes kind of went backwards. But I think Roided Up Chael was one of the best. And no. Pre-USADA Hendricks was one of the best ever. Pre-USADA Hendricks was amazing. Like remember, he would just knock out fools with his right hand. Pre-USADA Hendricks is one of the top 5 people. So far we have short notice Diaz, Nate Diaz actually. Short notice Nate Diaz. Pre-USADA Johnny Hendricks. Number 3 is C-level Kane. Number 2 is Coke Jones. And number 1 is TRT Vitor. No one would ever stop TRT Vitor. TRT Vitor was fucking amazing. I wish we had TRT Vitor forever, man. But yeah, pre-USADA Hendricks. If he would have won the title, he would be in the upper echelon. Like he would be number 2, for sure. If he won the title against GSP, because everyone's gonna be like, oh, he did win the title, Chase. No, I'm talking about against GSP. That would put him in GOAT status. Others in the top 5, other honorable mentions are ulcerative colitis, GSP. I'm not impressed with your performance, GSP. Oh god, I'm not impressed with your performance. 5-round Lawler. If you give Lawler 5 rounds. 3rd round Diego Sanchez. Sanchez in any 3rd round is always fucking scary for whatever reason. It's the only time he tries. Rematch Frankie Edgar, even though he never won, he was still a threat. Like every time Frankie Edgar got that rematch, you knew he was a threat. So yeah. But yeah, no, the top 5, like I said, short notice Diaz, pre-USADA Johnny Hendricks, C-level Kane, Coke Jones, and TRT Vitor. Oh yeah, and then steroid Sonnen. That's another good one too. What other healthy Habib? But healthy Habib, that's kind of boring because like every fighter is healthy and stuff like that. Habib's just dominant. Like he doesn't deserve a nickname. Oh, Strikeforce Overeem. That was a scary Overeem. Horse meat Overeem, as people would call him. Yeah, that was scary. Dude, Johnny Hendricks used to be a beast. He's the one guy. Like, I wasn't the big Hendricks fan, but I felt so bad for him when he was on his losing streak. Like, I remember I was like, what's Johnny Hendricks at to? I'm like, oh my god, he lost again. I was so sad for that dude, man. Like, like I said, I've never been the biggest Johnny Hendricks fan, man. But yeah, TRT Vitor was unstoppable. No, Jones did not beat TRT version of Vitor, actually, Isaac Barak. TRT Vitor came after that. That was literally when he remembered the testosterone replacement therapy. Trust me, if TRT Vitor was there, no way John Jones is breaking out that armbar. TRT Vitor handing John Jones that loss, motherfucker. Joe Rogan said Logan Paul would have a better chance of CM Punk. Yeah, well, Logan Paul is actually a really good wrestler. That's what some people forget, is that Logan Paul actually has like a decent history in fighting. So Yeah. Frankie should have beaten Benson Henderson in the rematch. Yeah, in the Japan, that was like rematch Edgar, like the premium with Frankie. Oh man, all those lost title matches, dude. Yeah, no, he beat Benson the second time. The first time I had Benson, but the second time I I had Frankie. I even said like I think Frankie won this fight. And then when Benson won, I was like, oh, okay. So is Floyd tension going to happen? I think it's happening. I'm not sure. I didn't keep up with that. It's been awfully quiet if it is happening because this is a Floyd Mayweather fight. It's been awfully quiet. It's happening in like 2 days. So it should be happening. No, he didn't have high testosterone. That wasn't TRTV tour. TRTV tour only happened in Brazil and out of the United States, unfortunately. Wasn't like the prime TRTV tour. What's Floyd doing in MMA now? Well, he's boxing. He's not doing MMA. He's just fighting tension in a boxing match. Should UFC do DC versus Lesnar and give Bones the winner or go straight to the trilogy? It's up to Lesnar. Lesnar's dictating the UFC. DC has no control. The Lesnar only took DC because he was second servants. He was the bridesmaid. He was the second option because Lesnar thought Jones would be suspended for 4 years. Turns out Jones made a plea deal with USADA, and then there you go. Jones is the fight Lesnar wants more than DC. DC needs to suck it up, needs to realize, hey, Lesnar's not going to fight you unless you fight John Jones. And then he will fight the winner of that. As much as DC said, the UFC won't fuck me over. Oh, well, DC, you're about to get fucked over by Uncle Dana. Heard Vitor is back. What is he doing? What, he signed with Bellator too? God damn. Is he going to run in doing Chael and Fedor? Or Fedor and Ryan Bader? Hey, man, Ryan Bader might become the champ. Shout out to Ryan Darth Bader, dude. Is GSP still seeing aliens? Of course, I'm always seeing the aliens. They're the reason why I got the disease known as ulcerative colitis. George, could it also be that you drank like so much like NOS that you got it? No. It's because of the aliens. One time, this is a true story. I tell you what happened. I closed my eyes and I woke up and it was a different time. The aliens changed the time on me really quickly. I was impressed with their performance, unlike Matt Hughes. I wasn't impressed with his. George, I think that's called sleep. No, the aliens, they just changed time. It says that like that. I remember when he talked about that on the Joe Rogan podcast, where he said that he literally said, I was in my bed. He closed his eyes and he woke up and the time changed. And Joe Rogan's like, I think that was sleep. And then he's like, no. And the aliens. Oh, dude, that shit was hilarious, man. I remember dying when we said, I was in the car and I was driving in the car. And then all of a sudden I reached my destination. And I don't remember what happened. Oh my god, George Sapir with the aliens, man. And then he talked about you have to walk a certain pattern and shit. Oh man, dude. Oh, Bisping will destroy Covington in a trash talk battle. Covington is just a typical Republican. Bisping is just smart. Better leg break, Sid Vicious or Anderson Silva? Oh, Psycho Sid, no questions asked. Especially with the Anderson's was depressing. Psycho Sid was hilarious. Like it was just like freaking Johnny Ace told him to go to the second rope, try to dive. Are Diaz still high on weed? Yeah, motherfucker. I'm smoking my CBD pen as we speak. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're still high. Like, who do you got for Adesanya versus Anderson? Anderson. Everyone's all this style bender hype. I am too. But guess what? I want a fucking spider resurgence in 2019. I want Anderson to go on, front kick Adesanya in the face, then go whoop against freaking goddamn Robert Whittaker or Kelvin Hasselem. All right? He beats the fuck out of them. And then finally, we see the ultimate fight of all time. Conor McGregor, Anderson Silva, booking for International Fight Week. We can bring Brazil and we can bring the Irish. Hey, y'all motherfuckers. Anderson Silva, Conor McGregor, greatest fight of all time. I'll go for the middleweight crown after I beat down fucking Jose again. That's what I fucking say. Humante to you, Anderson. Humante. So yeah, that's what I would say. So that's what I want. He lost to Jacare. Who lost to Jacare? Oh yeah, he got his ass kicked. Weidman, I don't know. Weidman's weird, dude. He's still a good fighter. He's just weird right now. He's just in a weird spot in his career, man. Who would you have babysit for your future kids? Coke Jones or Victory Road Jeff Hardy? At least Coke Jones, because he still beat DC's ass. He grabbed DC's ass and slapped it. Victory Road Jeff Hardy doesn't know where the fuck he's at. Oh yeah, that's a really good stat. Jacare is the first Brazilian to beat Chris Weidman, huh? Yeah, Chris Weidman was beating all these Brazilians. Vitor, Machida, Anderson. Yeah, dude, Jacare did a good job, man. Kevin Lee wants GSP. Psh, the fuck? I don't know. Do you think UFC is stupid to rematch Conor and Khabib? Yeah, there's no interest in a rematch. Why would I want to see Khabib and Conor do the same exact fight? There's no interest in a fucking rematch, dude. Unless Conor goes on a tear where it's like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Thoughts on the pre-fight press conference with Dana Jones versus the media, and don't forget the golden snitch. It was hilarious. That was like the preeminent what's it called? Greatness of Dana White and stuff. But anyways, guys, I do have to end the stream. I have to take my medication for tonight for my disease. I do have ulcerative colitis, so I do have to take it. But thank you guys very much for coming in and checking it out. Enjoy this post-fight press conferences and everything. Have yourself a good one.